All right, here's 3 things that every podcaster or anyone who calls yourself a podcaster should not be doing on your podcast. Everything else, it's kind of easy. You should be a good host and know how to speak well. But the number one thing you should not be doing, number 1, do not feel the need to say, every 30 seconds, every time someone else is speaking. Do you know how annoying it is to listen to a guest that you really want to hear, and then suddenly he says something like this. You know what? I went to my house, I left, and then my cat was waiting for me at the front door. Explain to me, what was so fucking profound about him saying that he left and his cat was at the front door? This is probably something that happens all the time. Or, I'm listening to an MMA guy, and he's like saying something like, after 3 years, I think I'm coming back because it's just in me. What? Where's the freaking profound statement there? He said he was out, he wants to come back. There's no there. Reserve that shit from when it's a profound, big deal point. Stop using the shit. Don't do it no more. Otherwise, you suck. Number 2, do not feel the need to acknowledge that you hear what the person is saying every 10 seconds. And this is 90% of podcast freaking hosts out there. Someone's talking and they go, right, sure. The British guys, sure, right, right. And then, they throw the fucking in there also. No and no acknowledgement of hearing the other guy speak. We know he's speaking, we can hear him, and I'm sure he doesn't need you to acknowledge him every 10 seconds. Just let him talk. That's number 2. Number 3, do not interrupt someone or answer the question that you just asked for the guy. If he stumbles on a word, I understand that. If he's like, I went to Brooklyn. Okay, good, Brooklyn. Right, fine. But if he says, I went to the store. No, I didn't go to the store. Did you go to the moon? No, I didn't go to the fucking moon. And, you keep trying to come up with the word that you think that he wants to say, but that's not what he wants to say. You know why? Because you're not him. He wants to say something else. Whatever's in his head, you have no idea, which is why you're asking him the question, right? So don't do these things if you call yourself a podcast host. Now, who started this bullshit? I mean, Joe Rogan has been doing it so much lately, but it wasn't him. It was a few other guys that are actually friends of his that he helped start podcasts for. And now he's doing it so much, it's almost unlistenable. Like, if you listen to his last couple of podcasts, and, he had some older major actors on, the guy from Gladiator, and it was actually a great interview. But sometimes the guy's like saying something, and he's like, Like, dude, are you eating food? Is there like food somewhere where like you feel the need to say, tastes good? Just shut up. Keep your mouth shut. But everything else I just said, the other 2, Joe Rogan does not do. He never cuts off guests and he never finishes their sentence unless he has a good idea of what they're trying to say. Because usually, 90% of his interviews are either conducted with friends of his who are comedians or MMA guys, of which he has a nice, profound knowledge, so it's okay for him to finish their sentences. I'm talking to you, the podcast person, the girl, the guy. You think you're good at podcasting, but you suck. Something else just popped into my head, which I just can't stand. This is number 4. You know what? I said 3, we're going to do 4. Here's the 4th thing you should never do when you're conducting an interview. If you want to ask a question, do not start by saying, I wanted to ask you a question. Or, hey, do you mind if I ask you another question? Well, there's your fucking question. So you already asked them one. Or, I wanted to talk about, you didn't want to talk about anything. You didn't want to ask the guy a question. You don't have to ask him for fucking permission. That's why he's there. Just ask the question. I'm listening to an interview with the Sean Strickland. And, it's like a brand new host. The show's okay. And, the host is pretty good. His name is Randy. Not Randy Couture, but some other Randy. And every time he asks a question with Sean, every single time, go watch it. It's unbelievable. He says, hey, Sean, I wanted to touch on, or, hey, Sean, I wanted to ask you this. Or, hey, Sean, do you mind if I ask you about the Dreykus fight? Or, I wanted to ask, just get rid of all that crap. All right? So the 4 things, or 3 plus a bonus one. All right? Number 1, no more whenever someone's speaking. Don't do it. Number 2, do not acknowledge the guy every 10 seconds by letting him know that you're hearing him by saying, right, sure, got it. Good point. Just shut the fuck up and let the guy finish speaking, right? Number 3. What was number 3? I forgot. Who knows? Oh my God. Oh, that's right. Number 3. Don't finish the guy's sentence or thought for him because it comes to him like I just did. So that was deliberate. It comes to you eventually. You get it? So just let the guy figure it out. I didn't have no magic voice tell me what I wanted to say. I knew what number 3 was. I was just testing you, okay? So don't do that. And number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the bonus one, right? Do not ask permission or do not state that you want to ask a question or you want to ask about a topic or can we go there? Just go there, ask the question, and move on to the topic. That's it. Otherwise, you suck as a podcast host.